Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janelle Evans, Darrell Bunjalung woman. I would like to acknowledge the lands that we stand on as being Gadigal lands from the Eora Nation and pay my respects to elders past and present. I would also like to acknowledge that for more than 60,000 years, the lands that we inhabit as students here have been centres for learning and excellence in the arts by the Gadigal people. Thank you.
Thanks, Janelle.
Stephen Garton's coming, everyone.
So, do I need a mic or can you hear me? At the lectern. I hate being behind the lectern.
I'm sorry we don't work for you. You work for us.
That's true.
You don't have a roving mic for me to... No?
Get on with it.
All right. Thank you all for coming. This is an opportunity to just give you a bit more information on the discussion so far and where we are. And I think there's a couple of key points that probably need to be on the table, and also to alert you to the fact that this is just the beginning of a period of consultation around the proposal that we might have a relationship between University of New South Wales and the University of Sydney in the visual arts, and also NAS. So these discussions have been going on for around 18 months. So they've been extensive and they have been talked about at length. One of your questions might be, why are we having these conversations? And the fundamental basis there is that the SCA is in a very significant deficit. And has actually had a significant drop in student numbers over the last 5 years. Of around 20%. So the status quo is not sustainable, and we have been, over the last 18 months, exploring a range of opportunities to ensure the future of visual arts education in Sydney.
Thanks for telling us.
Diversity is not opportunity.
Yes? Yes? No, absolutely. And all of the discussions are really about safeguarding the future of visual arts education.
I'd like to take the chance now actually to introduce myself to you. I'm Jemima Wilson. I'm a second year print media student at this college that you're proposing to close.
We're not proposing to close it.
This is the closure of the Sydney College of the Arts, and we're here representing Let SCA Stay. I'm sure you've noticed all around you. We have demands and we have questions. This is a student forum, so what I'd like to do is now we've got two powerful statements that I would like people to make, because I feel like what you're saying right now, it's not necessarily constructive. We want you to listen to us.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. Okay, 1 second. No, that's fine. So first we'll have to the floor. We're going to have Madeline Fountain speaking to her experience being forced to lie, like the university is. Then we'll have someone representing our international students, and we're going to have someone representing our students with disabilities.
Would you like me to answer questions at some point?
Absolutely, and we'll open the floor when that happens. Thank you.
You've got some speakers now, so
Yeah, I sure do, and I can hand this to you if you have answers. You can stay there. And actually, we'd like to get Colin Rhodes up on the stage too. Thank you. Thanks, Colin. We'll hand over to Maddie now.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming and for the incredible amount of effort that everybody has put into the Let SCA Stay campaign. We don't have the lawyers and the, super expensive PR doctors working on our fate like the university does. And what we've managed to achieve in the 7 days since that revolting email came through is nothing short of remarkable. So cheers to us. Stephen, hi. We really must stop meeting like this. You might remember me from a couple of your meetings that you've held March and May, where I was there when you instructed your staff to tell the students that it was business as usual. The question came from a staff member who said, "What do we tell our students?" And your answer was, "Business as usual." So, I'd just like to say that, I enrolled in this degree program back in 1996. Okay, I actually enrolled when we were in a pile over in Balmain, and I enrolled at Sydney College of the Arts because Sydney College of the Arts is the centre of excellence for visual arts education in Australia. Nobody needs a new centre of excellence. This is it. So, it's taken me 18 years to actually complete my studies, and I had to start again because I am from that group of people that are disadvantaged. I am a sole parent. It doesn't mean that I have any less merit as a candidate at your university, and you have an awful lot of money going into programs like this to make everybody believe that the University of Sydney is actually trying to get disadvantaged and underrepresented socioeconomic groups into the tertiary education system. So you might notice that I have a name tag on here, which is from the Sydney University's Compass program. I volunteered for it last year, and I noticed that this year, there's no Sydney College of the Arts on my name tag. It's quite funny. And so I was paid by the university on, the 9th of June, right in the middle of assessment time. I took time out of my schedule to be one of your players in the You Are a Star program. So Sydney College of the Arts was actually put way, way, way away from the main event by ourselves with no university branding in the quadrangle, while all of the documentation being fed through Instagram with the hashtags and all that kind of stuff was over near the fancy law building. So all of these disadvantaged kids came from all over Sydney to the university, and in good faith we told them that the university would provide pathways to them if they didn't fit the model of the corporate agenda that the university now represents. That if they knew that they needed to be artists, and that if they found their bliss and their calling in the cultural landscape of Australia, that the University of Sydney would help them do that. Now, I would suggest to you that you actually paid me to lie to students, because for you to have had those meetings, events don't pop up overnight. So you would have had to instruct the event company to make sure that Sydney College of the Arts didn't appear on here, Sydney College of the Arts didn't appear on social media, and I actually believed it when I told those children that they could come to you. So it's an absolute disgrace, and I can't believe you paid me to do it, okay? So that's unforgivable. I will never forgive you for that. So I'm going to tolerate your presence today because I know that I'm going to stay here and I'm going to complete the degree that I enrolled in under the terms of the handbook when I enrolled. And so we will be talking more. So thanks everybody. Let us all stay.
For that speech, and I'd just like to address one minor statement I heard just then that it wasn't instructive. As far as I'm aware, Compass is a university program, and that's all we're going to say about this. We'd like to have Tim Heiderick to the stage now to speak about international students. Thanks, Tim.
Hey, everyone, big up camera. So I came here, as you can probably understand, as a film student. I dropped everything that I had going on in Los Angeles. I quit my job that I loved. I sold my possessions, I sold my car, and I committed to this program because I thought that there was something valuable here. I thought that there was a valuable arts community. But I find one semester in, you're canning this program. How in a good conscience could you admit me knowing that you already had plans to close this college? I could have happily stayed where I was. Instead, I ended up shafted here. And not only that one time, but I found that a research degree would have better suited my skills and my interests. So in April, I applied for one. How are you still letting people apply for these programs when there isn't even a program to apply to? It's unconscionable. It is unconscionable what you're doing to these students' lives and to my life. I dedicated myself, and there's that, you all remember how you have to take that, no plagiarism, little quiz to show that, you have character.
Academic honesty.
Yeah, academic honesty. So I took that test. Did either of you at some point? Where is your test?
For that, Tim, did you have a specific response?
So I think it's very important to acknowledge that this is not a closure. Every student...
This is a closure of the Sydney College of the Arts. We're not accepting the use of your language. Your PR language has no place in this auditorium today, Stephen. Thank you, Janelle.
With all due respect, the Dean of the University of New South Wales Art and Design Program, Ross Harley, has sent out an email to all his staff saying that Sydney College of the Arts is closing.
Briefly, yes, but then we have one of our disabled students here to represent them all today. So.
No, that's fine. The Ross Harley email, which I've seen, talks about the closure of the campus, not the closure of the
You're not
program.
accepting enrollment.
It's the closure of the Sydney College of the Arts. That is what is occurring. We're going to be really clear about that. It would be lovely if you could be too. Thank you. We have Safari Lee here talking about how your decisions are going to impact disabled students.
You do have roving.
Hello, and thank you for meeting with us today. Everyone here? No. Sorry about that.
Speak into it.
Sorry.
That's right.
Just another little obstacle. Thank you. Can you hear better now? Yeah. I'll try to speak as loudly as I can if you're good on well. Yeah, you're good. Thank you for meeting us today. My name is Safari Lee. I'm a first year full-time BBA student. I'm speaking as someone with multiple disabilities. When I supplement my disability support pension I've been on for over 20 years with self-employment, it's from work as an artist. This includes jewellery and filmmaking. I live in a housing commission flat, so I don't have the luxury of space to work on art at home or money to hire a studio. So humble campus studio space is really vital. We excitedly attended University Open Day on main campus last year, where we attended the seminar about SCA. We went to the end of year exhibition last year, we read the handbook and course outlines, we contacted the counselling service, we registered with the disabilities units, and at the portfolio interview day, we checked that we wouldn't be discriminated against for our disabilities we live with each day. We went to each day of orientation week, including the talk at MCA, and we were really, really excited. We were so thrilled to have finally made it to what we regard as the best contemporary art school in Australia, and finally get to study under many of the best contemporary artists in the world. In none of these places will we advise all this research into our access and our needs specific to our disabilities would be irrelevant. The email and the subsequent response from the provost to our concerns reeks of ableism. To just say you'll be moved to another location disregards those of us who won't find it so simple. Those of us with disabilities are often greatly restricted in employment opportunities, and the arts are often our lifeline to independence and an improvement to our health. We chose this Kirkbride campus most importantly because it was accessible to us. We could get here physically and mentally, and we felt safe and well supported. Many of us have been outsider artists for years, and you offered us an opportunity to come inside. To Professor Garton and to our Dean Colin Rhodes, we refuse to let you force those of us with disabilities outside again and censure you on the grounds of neglect of your duty to students with special needs.
Safari, Tim and Mary. Yes, sure, go for it if you have something to say, but we're not going to let you speak for too long if we don't agree with it, so carry on.
Actually, I find that kind of problematic in an
Oh, interesting. We've got a few problems, don't we? We've got a few problems here today, huh?
So, just in response to that, I acknowledge the special needs. These are really important and they're absolutely critical to ensuring that in any new space that's provided for the degrees that are going to continue, that your needs are met.
Where's the space? We have a space.
Already, and I'm going to need so one of my issues is the 2 parking spaces, and because it is so restricted, they can't add extra parking spaces for people with disabilities.
And one of the important things that we need to do is log some of these important issues.
We've got a question over here actually that I'd like to field before you keep talking, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen.
I've been a student on main campus, and the support over there is excellent for students of minorities. And I thought that coming here, the support would be just as good. And to be quite honest, the support here is minimal, if not piss poor. But one of the good things was the parking, and the staff here are excellent. Yay! I'm concerned that in moving to another campus that is not even specifically staffed by Sydney staff, that the support is going to be even more piss poor. How is that going to be addressed? Is the support going to come from UNSW staff? Is the support still going to come from Sydney Uni main campus that is just going to be, how is that even going to work if we can't even get support services here when we're just, on a different campus? I don't understand how all this is going to be addressed when we can't even get it addressed when we're just a couple of suburbs over.
So, let me say that's an important issue that we need to log in our conversations.
It's funny that you didn't think about that before shutting a whole campus. I think there's a lot of things you haven't considered by the sounds of things, Stephen. And now we're going to go to someone from Super. Co-President of Super would like to address you now.
Okay. Sorry, I got all these doodads. Hi everyone, thank you guys so much for coming. This is amazing. I've been at SCA since 2010. When I came, I was amazed at how much space, support, beautiful campus we had to do film work on. It was absolutely astounding. And the support was great when I first got here. As time went on, it felt a bit waning. However, our staff have done an excellent job of trying to keeping it together by bringing us together as a community, by doing the Wednesday night forums for postgrads. Who's a postgrad here? Okay, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. I have a couple concerns. The first concern I have is with the amalgamation. I noted that the article that Professor Rhodes had written for the Herald did list a lot of schools, but many of them did not have substantial interdisciplinary potential research programs that SCA has to offer with the University of Sydney. These are programs where I, as an SCA student, can collaborate with other people across the university, across disciplines, and I know that there are several students who have done that, and I think that is something that's very valuable for the future visual arts and digital media. So that's one concern I have. The second concern, and probably most relevant to this discussion, is We have been trying to talk to you guys about SCA for almost a year now, about what's been going on, about why we had been seeing articles in the Sydney Morning Herald or various other media outlets about possible closures or amalgamations. We were told, as Madeline mentioned earlier, that it was business as usual, and yet here we are learning today that these conversations have been having for 18 months. Even faculty... I have been in meetings with the people who work with the Vice Chancellor very closely, and even some of them have been kept in the dark about this. I want to know why there has not been any transparent consultation with students and other senior executives at the university on this issue. That has me concerned, and I think that has a lot of students concerned.
Thank you so much. Would you like to address that?
So there have been open conversations around the future of the SCA.
Open? Sorry, were the conversations open?
With the staff. Because we needed to work out a viable future for the SCA in the context. And that's been an open question.
We propose that our school is very much viable. And on that note, we've got Madeline Fountain to speak to one of our most valuable assets, our precious, precious staff and technical staff. That
What I meant to say before is that it's completely clear to us that basically this stunt that you've cooked up with, God knows who, I understand the New South Wales government had something to do with it. This stunt is really about drawing everybody pre-election into a much bigger conversation about the partial deregulation of fees. Now, what I find interesting, did anyone hear the Triple J interview with Dollars and Spence last night? Yeah? Okay, he gave up a few cues about what this is really all about. It's kind of revolting that you've decided to use us as your segue into that conversation. So thanks for that. We're not going anywhere. Basically, it's really odd that prior to an election that they're saying is all about jobs and growth, you've just decided to cut how many jobs out of an already struggling arts sector? Support the unbelievably amazing teachers that are here at SCA. We are not letting a single one of our master technicians go, nor any of our academic staff, nor any of our support staff. So one of our demands today is that you are going to commit to absolutely no job cuts from Sydney College of the Arts. About that there will be no job cuts from Sydney College of the Arts.
No, I'm not committing to that.
Probably just a good time to mention that in this harebrained scheme that landed in our inboxes, and the attachment, by the way, to the actual heads of agreement that we're supposed to be considering seem to be omitted. I suggest your administration staff are a bit sloppy. So basically, we don't have the information. And I understand, and perhaps you can confirm this, that the New South Wales government had something to do with this harebrained scheme called the Centre of Excellence. I'd like everyone to show us what the real Centre of Excellence is right now. Can you please confirm whether the New South Wales government has had any part in the negotiations towards the heads of agreement about the future of visual arts education and the tertiary landscape in Australia?
So, as everyone in the room knows, we've been in conversation with NAS, the state government, University of New South Wales, and the University for 18 months.
What about us?
So we got that? So the bad government cooked up this scheme. We got that? Thanks.
That's a wild leap.
That was all we needed. I don't think it's a wild leap in the context of things. I'd now...
Just respond to one other thing.
Briefly?
But we are committed. finding as many places for our staff as possible for staff.
No, they're not.
They can all stay. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. I think we've made that clear. I'd like to open up the floor now as best I can. I'm going to try and get a microphone around to as many people as I can because I feel like our concerns are more important than your PR spin.
Hello.
We've got a few people who have statements, so Susie's going to say something.
Quiet. I've got a question for you. In your article, Why Sydney Needs a Great Art School, you insulted the institution of SCA, its staff, its students. You believe SCA, the institution you are in charge of, is a substandard institution. What did you do to support SCA to enhance its status within the Australian community and internationally, and why are you not supporting us now?
I think SCA is a great art school. I've worked my ass off for the last 10 years for SCA. My op-ed piece merely suggested that there might be something that was even better than we currently have.
It's not this solution, and we're all united in
It
that.
may not be the solution, but that was the intent of that op-ed piece. I have no doubt that this is a great school.
It's the best.
I'm
That's the
proud to be
point.
part of
It's
it.
the best.
Silence is an interesting reaction. Thank you, Colin. Who else was ready to... We'll have Jane here.
Thomas McLaughlin, I'm Principal Solicitor of the SRC Legal Service for undergraduates.
Yeah,
At the meeting last Friday, about 57 students signed up authorities for our office to take instructions for protection of their consumer rights that the university provides education services. So no doubt that will follow a certain process. The significant number of postgraduates gave us forms, and we'll pass them on and consult with the principal solicitor, the Supra legal office. I had a question for, based on information following last Friday, I have a question for the Dean, Mr. Rhodes. There's a tenant here at the school, Caldor Public Art Projects. Can you comment, is there any intention or plan for the Rozelle SCA site to be allocated to a venture like Caldor for a Mona version of an art precinct here in Sydney?
I have absolutely no awareness of anything like
Maybe
that.
Stephen Garton does.
None.
So where's the master plan that you guys have about the Kirkbride facility? Where is that? Because you obviously have got some idea. I mean, if you're moving us out in 6 months, do you seriously expect us to believe that you don't know what happens next? We're not stupid.
It's the state government's.
No, it's not. You have the lease on it. Okay,
So you're just handing it back to the state government. Give it over.
So essentially you're handing arts and culture in Sydney over to the state government. Is that what you're doing? I don't know if we're in capable hands
What
with
about
that.
the 90-year lease?
We've indicated to the government that one of the options we might exercise is handing the lease back.
Can I get anyone else from the audience to... Does anyone else have anything to say, Loretta? Thank you.
On that topic, New South Wales property has been relisted under the New South Wales government. That suggests to me that there's action already underway to relinquish property of the art schools. So that change happened without even a flutter of conversation about it. There are terrible omissions that really suggest a demise is intention. I want you to explain how losing that property to New South Wales government, relinquishing it, is part of a merger plan.
no comments about what will happen to the historic Kirkbride buildings, no comments about NAS. No comment. Interesting. Does everyone have that on record? There's no comment.
I don't have any knowledge of it.
How is it you can have no knowledge of it when you've been in meetings every 6 weeks since last July on the topic?
That's the topic about how we bring the schools together.
Yeah, there's no togetherness. This is another thing that we're completely rejecting in your language. We will not be using terms like merger, we will not be using terms like amalgamation, and we will not be getting together with anybody. This is a dissolution and a dispossession, and you need to own that.
I disagree. No. I don't think that is the case. Staff from here will be going to...
Bullshit!
What about our facilities? Are you taking the glass over to this new place?
This is all part of the discussion that we have.
As far as we were aware, there's been no discussion with students, so I think words like discussion are pretty much off the table at this stage. Thank you.
I don't think that's right.
We don't think you're right!
We were told that the move wouldn't be till 2020. We were also told at one stage we were going to merge with the architecture department at Sydney University. They were more appealing options than what you've got on the table now. So why are they no longer have currency?
So they are still options. All that's been signed in the heads of agreement is a commitment to have a further conversation with the University of New South Wales about whether it's feasible to do a merger of the two. The other...
They don't have space for their own students. Yeah, how about that? It's maybe lawyers. Some of the campaigns got
Final question. So those options still remain on the table. If these arrangements fall through, we will be considering bringing onto main campus and having a smaller SCA with either architecture face.
The strategy is so transparent that they cook up something that is so unbelievably ridiculous that you're thinking that we're going to get to the table and think that that's the better option. I mean, it's pretty standard negotiation.
It's kind of not that ridiculous because actually...
Okay, thank you, Madeline, thank you, Stephen. We've just got a question up the back here.
It did happen in 1985.
We've got a question.
It's less of a question than a statement. I think we're all struggling to understand this concept of a centre of excellence when all three arts schools in Sydney currently have very, very different agendas. We are a contemporary art school. We are the only contemporary art school in Sydney. Has been steadily gearing itself towards design, and NAS is a material style art school. Now, none of us are good fit together, apart from the fact that what was co-from, I can't stand the other end of the that we believe that they are bulging in the seams. I don't know how they will accommodate this number of students coming over to them. I think it's unconscionable to get rid of the staff we have here. They are experts in their field, they're internationally recognised artists. They perform something completely different to what the art schools do. And we are the only art school in Sydney that has practising, internationally recognised artists as our tutors, and we value them very, very highly.
about this move. We have a united group of people here today who are saying that there is nothing about this move that values the arts. This does not value the arts, this fails the arts. That is why we're all here. We've got Lily.
Who came to Sydney College of the Arts for the glass shop? Hands up, hands up. Who else came for the biggest printing press in the Southern Hemisphere? Who else came for all of the other facilities and the staff that we have? And who doesn't want to be shoved into COFA with 3,000 other students? I know I don't! This idea of consultation has been a lie. This whole thing has been a complete lie. That smug look on your face, wipe it off, Steve, because we are calling you on your bullshit right now.
Good afternoon, thanks for coming, finally, to the table. My question or my comment really is around this idea that the enrolments have been diminishing. It seems to me that someone very passionate like Madeline, who can get out of a group of 30 children, 10 of them agreed that they would enrol in SCA. That seems like a pretty high number. If enrolments have been diminishing, why have they been diminishing? Why hasn't more resources been put into this incredible facility? Why have we got an entire building, over building 10, has not been refurbished in the last, since we've been here 20 years. I don't know if everybody knows, there's an entire building over in the far corner here which is being left languishing. I think the whole of Unsquad would fit in there actually.
Yeah. Why aren't they coming to us?
Why aren't they coming to us? That's my question. Yeah. Why haven't we been looked after? Why haven't we been nourished? On the tiny piddly amount that we've been given, we remain absolutely excellent.
So the reality is student numbers have declined 20%.
Why?
We have a response to the engineered statistics of the university. I don't think we need to hear them again. We've been hearing them through an email, actually, so we'll get a response to that.
So, just so everyone understands what, Stephen's about to make a case for declining enrolments and for increasing deficits. So I don't know if anyone here is familiar with what the UEM is. It's the University Economic Model. It is what all faculties have had to basically struggle under since 2011 when it was implemented, and it is a key part of their strategic plan of turning the University of Sydney into a business. And basically, since this came in, Sydney College of the Arts has absolutely desperately struggled to meet the financial demands that are imposed on us by the university. The space taxes, you charge us a profit on what you pay the New South Wales government and make us struggle to basically justify you closing us down. So we'd like to ask you, specifically, we understand that every faculty of the university does have to operate under the UEM. What about the Conservatorium of Music? They are a cultural institution. They are a sacred cow by the looks of things, because we understand that they have something in the order of double the deficit that we do, that you impose on us and have engineered through your own made-up formula to make money. So why is the Conservatorium of Music safe and the Sydney College of the Arts is not?
You are factually incorrect.
Bullshit.
Please correct me, you don't provide us with any of the actual information,
Okay,
so
no,
go ahead.
It might take 2 minutes if we're prepared.
Go.
So every faculty in every university pays charges for university services. So the space charge is not about the rent, It is about the
Call it
cost.
whatever you like, that's spin.
It's the
You know what
cost
it means.
of maintaining the buildings, the cleaning, the electricity. And so you pay for what you consume.
Yeah, so
just
why is
like
the con different?
it pays a UEM charge as well.
Well, but no, it has a greater deficit than we do. Can you, okay, yes or no? The Conservatorium of Music has an analogous deficit to the Sydney College of the Arts.
The Sydney College of the Arts has the highest per capita deficit of
Well,
any
okay.
faculty in the
Okay.
university.
Let's get the facts straight then. Could you give us a ballpark figure of what the Sydney College of the Arts owes you, our mother university, right? That like we're supposed to be part of your family, but you're like the parent that is charging us board, okay? So compare, like how much do they owe you, and how much do we owe you, please?
So
Exactly.
the deficit here is $5.5 million at the present point in time, and has been a deficit for a number of years. And
How much was your bonus?
They have a higher deficit, but
Right.
they have more staff.
Sorry, what? Can you say that again?
They have more staff, so
No,
actually
can you say that
the highest per capita deficit is the SCA.
I think we'd like to get this straight. I believe that I just heard you say that the Conservatorium of Music has a higher deficit. Is that correct?
And we are working.
Is that correct? It's a yes or no answer, Stephen. It's a yes or no answer.
They have a lower per capita deficit.
Do they not have a higher deficit? We're not speaking per capita. Is the number higher?
Per capita is very relevant.
Is the number higher? Does the Conservatorium of Music have a higher deficit? Yes. That was a yes, everyone. That was a yes. Why aren't they? Are they safe?
No, they're not safe.
We're working
No
with
one's
them to
safe.
lower their deficit.
Are you working with us?
And this is
I don't think this is what working with a college looks like. We've got another response about finances now.
Hi, my name is Vanilla. I'm not actually an SCA student, but I'm from the Sydney University SRC. I'm a counsellor there. And firstly, let me just say that students on main campus definitely support you. We've been fighting the union around. But I think I just wanted to respond around the question of deficits and sustainability and all that jazz. There's two things I wanted to say. Firstly, in the university's own annual report for 2015, they reported that the university made $158 million. So I don't think this is actually a question of whether there's enough money or not for SCA or the conservatorium or any other arts faculties. The university has the money. This is not a question about that. This is actually a question about the second thing that I want to talk about, which is when you say that it's not sustainable, it's not realistic, it's not viable, what you're actually saying is the university cannot make enough money out of the SCA. That's what they're talking about. And I think it's odd really to say on one hand that you value the arts, and on the other hand say you've got to shut down a campus because it's not profitable enough. We want to altogether reject the idea that our education should be economically viable. Actually, like education is a right. It's a right for every single person, and arts actually deserves to be funded just like every other faculty in the university. So we categorically reject the idea that arts education should come through the lens of profit or any other education for that matter. And I think, personally, just to sum up, I think that SCA is definitely going to be here to stay, and it's not because of these two idiots up the front, it's going to be because of the hundreds of people in the
Okay, go ahead. Do your best.
Universities don't make a profit.
Yeah, you do.
$158
million.
This is a really important.
Just like you made over $600,000 last year.
Jeff, this is a really important issue for everyone to understand. Universities do not make a profit.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. back into business. So that 100 million or 200 million is unspent research grants, philanthropy that can't be allocated for anything else, infrastructure funding from the government.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we've heard enough about how you personally benefit from the university system, unlike us. I think now what I'm going to do, I really think it's valuable for you to hear more of the real voices coming out of SCA, and so I'm going to try and do my best right now, guys. I really want to do my best like you, unlike these two. So I'm going to walk around the room and I'm just going to grab a few people from each area and just try and make it snappy, and if things escalate, I'll try and get us back on point, which is getting these guys to shut up. So, do you want to say something?
All talk of profits aside, I'm a current SCA student doing my second year of my research, high degree research degree. As someone who's learning a lot about the situation from both sides, our side and the media side, there's a lot of talk of media spin, and in particular I have a question in regards to the, I'll read my statement and it has a question in it, but if you could just bear with me. We would see that someone who sits on 3 councils representing arts in Australia, which is Sue Cato, who's on the Council for the National Gallery Victoria and the Council for Director of the Council for Sydney Theatre Company, and the formerly from the MCA as well. We would see that that person would have she is a figure that champions diversity in arts education as a core belief and management team. Therefore, we would see it as a conflict of interest if the same person was the principal of the company in charge of the public relations handling the closure of a major Australian art school, Sydney College of the Arts. How would you see this? Is this a conflict of interest? I don't believe so.
Why
And
not?
she's not handling it, the university is handling it, she's offering advice from time to time.
So you're paying Sue Cato to close Sydney College of the Arts?
No, that's a complete
Well, to help with these
misrepresentation.
Can you define?
We're not closing.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Can you define the role that Sue Cato is currently providing to you in your media marketing strategy campaign, which clearly is about the closure of SCA and not about the formation of a Centre for Arts Excellence?
No, it's not about closure. This is not about closure. Every student will have the right and a complete right to finish their university studies.
Will you or will you not be accepting new students from next year into the Bachelor of Visual Arts?
That's a point of negotiation. If the agreement with New South Wales is finalised,
We
the
call
answer
bullshit.
would be no.
At these meetings, we've had reps from UNSW who have come and, I think the president of the Visual and Arts Design School there, who have said, look, this is not anything against SCA students, but we absolutely don't have the support services, the space, or the quality to be offering, education to these students when we aren't even getting an adequate education ourselves. So what we have are the staff and students of SCA opposing this move, the staff and students of UNSW Art and Design unanimously also, there's been no positive reception from them on this. Why, with such community outrage and pushback, are there any intentions to even considering moving forward with something that is so desperately unpopular with all of the major stakeholders?
Can't comment on University of New South Wales, but they're engaged in the conversation, so they're obviously interested.
The students have said clearly no.
The issue is we have to do something about the serious deficit. So change has to happen.
More enrollments,
Okay, before we continue with that, we've got Jessica here, and then, sorry, what was your name? Liz, and then we've got 3 from up the back.
Hello, Stevens, and welcome to Sydney College of the Arts. I currently stand here as a financially disadvantaged student who was admitted 2 years ago under the ETOL scholarship scheme. Art for me was an emancipation from my situation, which was being a carer for my disabled father. I came here every day to make scholarship under the Bank of China. I spent hours writing about my future plans, what I wanted to do, and I anticipated a future of the arts in Australia, and I anticipated staying here and supporting my family. And you offered me that scholarship. It was 2 weeks after my birthday, and I could not have been more proud of myself. How can you stand here having financially offered support for my future and stay with yourself while you don't support the arts in Australia anymore, but you are more than happy to take my enrollment, take my burgeoning HECS debt? And I don't want a reply from you, I just want you to consider this.
We don't want your spin on this, we want you to understand what you've done.
I don't want to give a spin, but I do want to commit to honoring the scholarship.
Yeah, we're going to the back of the room now. Oh, sorry, and we have one more here, sorry.
This is not a question, this is a statement. I'm a graduate of this college, I'm also a graduate of main campus, I'm a graduate of the National Art School, I've taught here, and I've taught at the University of New South Wales School of Art and Design. I spent the last 10 years teaching art and design in the UK, including at the University of Arts London. Why has no one done any research and considered the University of Arts London model, which has preserved all of the campuses which have joined that together in that institution, which has preserved all of the cultures, all of the expertise and all of the staff, and has not done anything like a merger, but only created an administrative block that has pursued a level of excellence across all disciplines over there. Why is there no art expertise involved in this table discussion? Teaching art and design to young people in the UK, creating opportunities, fostering aspiration. Art and design does that. It teaches creative thinking, it teaches problem solving. If you want to talk about this entry-level innovation, it is the site where that happens. And closing one of the premier art schools in this country is an insult to every young person in this country who wants to study art and design.
Yes, I have two questions to ask. The first question in regards to the negotiations of enrollment, then why has the University of Sydney stated that they are not accepting any more enrollments next year? That's the first thing. And second of all, what am I supposed to tell my high school teacher who came here and studied at the Sydney College of the Arts, came and taught me, and because I'm one of her top students, what am I supposed to tell her, knowing that she is going to be not only upset, frustrated, she's going to face a tantrum about what's going to happen here, knowing that a place that she studied at and she loved very well is going to close. So,
there are enrollments available.
This is a closure of Sydney College of the Arts. It's a closure.
Just so everyone knows, Gabrielle is an amazing first year student, and when I thought about what the first years would have even understood in your stupid email that you sent us, my heart broke for them because they wouldn't have had a clue what you were talking about because it was nonsense.
Hello everybody, my name is Milena Novakovic, I'm an MFA student here. Just coming after 6 months being overseas with my family from very difficult time, and I got that letter in my mail. And when I was reading that mail, I was thinking, oh my God, it must be something better. That was my thought. And I was sitting there and trying to imagine, knowing what I can about this space and cover that I didn't know. I went on the internet, I checked some new things, and then I had that in mind as a possibility. And then, few days after that, I'm sitting here, I'm addressing both you, Stephen and I'm just trying to be in your shoes and trying to imagine how I can discuss in the terms to destroy this school and make something better. In which terms? Nobody stressed here, I think, if I miss that, just correct me. One very simple thing. This school, among all other things that any art could or blah, 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 is giving something very, very unique. Every school is giving knowledge, but the knowledge that we are getting here, we can't get anywhere. Why? And then putting through the Colin Rhodes thing, that's why I'm very, very surprised what happened in the past. How then Colin didn't start from thinking, yes, there is an economic problem, but I must fight for this. Why? I will tell you this. Knowledge is coming everywhere, even if we are in the middle. But the knowledge that's coming from this school, which is combined this thing. Here we have science and philosophy and art and psychoanalysis, plus studio work, plus our supervisors, plus our team. That means that work that I create as an artist is something completely new for me and something completely new for everybody who is looking at that, connected with that, interacting with that. That's why I am begging to change your position and just fight for this, which is, I can really, really say with responsibility, very special place to give us and community new knowledge. And without that
Thank you. My name's Carla. I'm a PhD student and I'm currently suspended. The reason I'm suspended is Colin Rhodes, until 2 months ago, was my supervisor.
Sorry.
He was my supervisor and he single-handedly destroyed my studies for this year. And if I don't get my scholarship back, will destroy my studies forever. Now, why do I tell you this? Because when I heard the news last week that this college was destroyed, I suddenly realised what Colin Rhodes did to me last semester is what he is doing to this college right now. So, I have a question for Colin Rhodes. And that question is, are you proud of your achievement as Dean of this college, overseeing its destruction, overseeing the staff and the students going to an unknown fate, overseeing the emptying of these buildings and being turned into who knows what? I ask you this question, are you proud of your achievements as Dean of this school? I need an answer. I think we all deserve an answer to this.
I have spent the last decade of my life working for this school.
What do you get?
Not as a manager.
Jobs, Colin.
I have spent the last 10 years of my life
And yet you have
trying
failed to
do
protect the
best
students and the
of
staff
this
at this college at
school.
this time. Are you proud of your achievements, Colin Rhodes?
Yeah, we haven't had an answer, Colin. Are you proud? Are you proud of yourself right now? No, it was a question. Are you proud of yourself?
I think that's a direct question from the floor. Are you proud of your actions, Colin? Direct question from all of us.
It's a rhetorical question.
No, it's not a rhetorical question, actually. You can stop patronising us, Garton. We know how to use our vocabulary. We use our words, thanks. Sorry, we've got a speakers list back here.
Right, so
I'm still waiting for the answer to that question.
answer, Colin, please. Up here.
Let's actually quantify that achievement, right? As Janelle was saying, this is one of the best art colleges we have, not just in New South Wales, but in the country. We can actually put a figure on that. We have a 5 out of 5 from the Excellence in Research Australia, right, for art education. So why is it that you haven't committed the resources to keeping us here and making us excellent, great again, continuing to practice? What's the motivation? Why? I don't understand.
Extensive resources to this campus and to this faculty.
But why aren't you keeping those resources coming in? 5 out of 5. How can you be a GO8 university and not have a faculty of the arts like the University of Melbourne does as well? UNSW will. It'll have like twice the size now.
But the issue is
why not?
The student numbers have declined dramatically.
So wait. So now so it's obvious you don't really care about this campus, right? But we have, and you say you enjoy the arts, right? It's important for this university. Have you considered what the other faculties will lose when we go away, like from film studies? We collaborate with them a lot, with studio-based practice. We also help with Indigenous studies, with the Wungaramara, because we contribute a lot of research into Indigenous issues, right? Do you value them? Do you value our contributions to
What I'm
those?
trying to find is an option.
But why not use its name? I mean, you want to be the best university in Australia, yes or no? In the world, right? Why not have this resource here? Why not make us the best? Why not keep doing that?
So, there is a significant deficit in the
Oh.
student numbers.
But what about those other if we bring that resources with them, they become much better. We can get more enrollments that way. Have you not considered the impact we can have on those other faculties?
Let me just say, this has got no comment about the staff who are excellent. They have been doing everything they possibly can to provide the best education and to increase the student enrolments. It hasn't happened.
I believe it's the university's job to advertise at college. The college and teachers should not have to advertise themselves, Stephen. And we're going to move
Hi. I would really like to believe you when you say this isn't a done deal. And we have a clear rejection of this plan from both the staff and the students here. So I would like to know what it will take to get it off the table.
With the University of New South Wales.
the negotiations that how many of us have been part of?
I actually want to hear the answer. What do we have to do to make this stop?
So I don't think it's an issue about stopping or starting. The issue is we need to continue to have the negotiations. We need to collect your concerns and we need to start seeing what the particular issues are and seeing if we can find a solution.
We're here to present you with the solution to your negotiations, and it's to stop the closure. That is the discussion. That's the discussion we're having.
Imagine what the world's going to look like with a whole generation in Australia that do not have any visual artists. Because that's what you're doing. You're wiping out a generation of professionally trained visual artists.
And that's actually correct. This is plenty of good art schools in there.
My question is more about funding for postgraduate research, given this 18 months of negotiation. I just applied last semester having graduated in honours in sculpture. I came back from working in industry and all sorts of stuff to continue with postgraduate research and had to do an honours degree to do that. So I was aware that Master of Arts programs at Sydney College of the Arts, they have there's a range of funding, but I can only afford Commonwealth Scholarship. I can't afford to take more debt on. That's just a practical concern, and plenty of other people are coming from all over the world to this place. I mean, they're either public funded or they're getting a Commonwealth Scholarship. What, over the 18 months that you've been discussing mergers, whatever, changes to Sydney College of the Arts, what's been the planning around those postgraduate Commonwealth scholarships and university scholarships, so it's UPA and APAs? I've been hearing around in all these discussions that there won't be any more for arts funding from 2017. I'm now in a position where I'm trying to get my master's application that was here, which has been suspended. I've got the email like everybody else. Maybe in an architecture faculty here, maybe New South Wales. I know it's a chaotic process, very few people have tried to do this before, faculty members and everyone. So what have you guys been pushing hard for in terms of Commonwealth scholarship funding and university scholarship funding, either from next semester or 2017? I mean, is it still going to be a viable option? I need an answer because I can't do it otherwise.
So the critical commitment from the university is that every student enrolled can complete their degree and complete a University of Sydney degree if they so choose, and that students on scholarships can continue to have their scholarships.
Okay, right, I don't become a blind student, so I don't actually have granted.
Okay, so that's a slightly different case.
People don't apply to get a bit of paper at the end, they apply for the education they receive in the middle. And that's what it's
about. This is what our degree means.
I'm being respectful. It's just about what have your discussions been around in terms of intended inclusion of Commonwealth scholarships?
Students.
Yeah,
future
sure.
students we are obviously thinking that they will enrol, if the University of New South Wales arrangement goes ahead, that they would enrol as University of New South Wales students from 2017. Now, on the understanding that staff from here will be going there. So there will be scholarship.
Actual discussions that you've had about Commonwealth scholarship funding, university scholarship funding, that doesn't mean a fee paid get halfway to postgraduate research.
University of New South Wales, I have a PhD from the University of New South Wales, have scholarships. You can apply there.
Maybe you should.
Hey Garton, just a quick question, because you say you're committed to students being able to complete their studies as they sort of committed to them at UCID, right? So with postgraduates who have a relationship with their supervisor, you can't guarantee that they're still going to have a job at UNSW, that only some of them will. How can they continue their research properly?
Yes. That's a very important consideration, and we will have to work out a arrangements with each and every individual research student about providing appropriate
every supervisor stay.
What kind of arrangement?
Well, that's part of the negotiation. We've been working on it now.
Hello, Vice Chancellor.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
You mentioned the solution. I think we've got somebody to say take it off the table. We've had this lady who's a teacher at the University of London. If the school is running at a deficit, it's a big property to maintain, that really, I think that we talk about a solution, and I think it would be a shame and it would be a disgrace really, and to City University to let this school close. And I think that we need to call on the students of Sydney University, and I'm just suggesting that to keep, as this other gentleman mentioned about a centre of excellence here, that you have pulled money out, you just let it dwindle, similar to what TAFE did to their fine arts schools all over the state. It's my suggestion, we have student leaders here from Sydney University. A lady here mentioned about how they collaborated at London University, I think that's right, London University, University of Arts London, how they got all the departments together, and we should call on all the students at Sydney University to boycott their enrollments in 2007.
We've not taken funds out, we've put funds in every year.
Where did my head fees go?
Hello.
To funding the deficit.
Hi. So I'm Ali Johnshaw. I'm a first year BBA student. And I guess I'm wondering, when I enrolled at the BBA, I was also tossing up between a Bachelor of Arts at Sydney. I was actually enrolled in it. I was all set to go, but then I found SCA was still enrolling, and so I applied and got in, and here I am. I'm wondering why, because I've gotten wind that at Uni of Sydney there's double degrees on offer, where you can study in multiple faculties, and you can also do that at the Con. You can study musicology and arts or whatever. Why can't we do that at SCA? Why doesn't SCA have double degrees? Why haven't you considered that as an option to let us stay here? Because I think if you're concerned about enrollment, like I think that is the best way to get people to want to come here. If they want to study more, like why aren't you fostering education rather than just like coding this? Why are you doing that?
It's never been an option that the faculty's put to us as an option.
Again, the university should not be looking to its teachers and its students to provide solutions. We look to you to provide solutions. You look after your faculties, your staff and your students. That is not an answer. It's not an answer. Sorry, I just got angry. I'm so I have a few questions.
The campuses makes that really difficult.
Stephen, Grant. For the benefit of those in the audience, my name is Grant Wheeler. I'm the Community and Public Sector Branch President for the University of Sydney. Obviously a student forum, so I won't speak for very long. I just have one very brief point to make. As you'll probably be aware, over time the Community and Public Sector Union and the National Tertiary Education Union haven't always seen eye to eye. On occasion we fight. We have tried for several years to work more closely together. This has been a real challenge. Thank you, Stephen. You have brought the two unions together. I think I can speak on behalf of the National Tertiary Education Union as well as the CPSU. We believe that the consultation opportunities afforded to staff in this process so far have been pitiable. However, the consultation opportunities afforded to students over the same period of time have been nothing short of disgraceful.
Thank you. I've got a question down here. I've got three. I think I've got three questions down here and one up there first.
I'd just like to say, firstly, how dare you stand up there and say that, and I'll humour you here, that a merger with UNSW is in our interests, where we lose our studio space, all the excellent facilities we have here, our excellent staff. Just, how dare you again? There's this, what you propose affects 400 undergraduates, 200 postgraduates, that's just in this campus. And not only that, getting rid of SCA affects Sydney, New South Wales and arts in Australia. How dare you? My ATAR last year said I was going to get 55. I was pretty pissed, but I worked hard, and when I went to SCA, I was obsessed with it. I even had it on my board while I was working, going, go to SCA, go to SCA, go to SCA. If you don't, you're going to be unemployed and useless, really. So, what I did yesterday with my friend Gabriel, we made a Hitler video, directed at Spence, so I don't even know why he's here, so I call him a bit of a coward, really. So, I don't even really need to ask questions to you. So, again? I'm technically busy on holidays. You ruined my holidays. I should be driving for a peace test shortly. And no, I'm going to be here. So the statement I have to propose is, well, you say we could say there might be better art schools around. I looked at COFA because I actually went really well in that ATAR, which is pretty cool. And I looked at COFA and I thought, this sucks. I saw this place, it's got the zing, there's good hospitality to the people. And basically, I love it even being here, despite the fact that I'm arguing. I want to stay here and serve as much as everyone else. Thank you.
Down here, and briefly, how many speakers did you collect up there?
I think I can take one or two.
Okay, we're going to finish the speakers that we have, and then we'll wrap it up.
How do you put a price on
Thank
culture?
you. Stephen, my name is Alexander, so I'm one of the editors of the student newspaper. I just have a question. One of the justifications of the merger is the supposed 25, I think it was 20 or 25% decline in enrollments.
Right.
Now, having spoken to Garton and Colin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, and interviewed him earlier this year, I know that the university has all kinds of data on first preferences and why people change, and why people leave, and why people attend the university, and why people don't. What is the supposed reason behind this 25% decline? Does the university have information on why that decline, has come to fruition? And if so, why aren't they sort of implementing targeted solutions to address that? As I imagine they would if there was a 25% decline in international students, say.
So the faculty and university management have been looking at a whole range of strategies to try and address the issue. Looking at different, but they haven't worked. And interesting is that there's a conversion rate from preferences to actual admissions, and that's where the major problem has arisen. And it is being steadily falling each year. So
Is that because you said we were closing, maybe?
No.
We heard rumours 4 years ago that you were closing. Do you think people still wanted to come here?
And manufactured decline is not an answer.
Manufactured decline.
Different marketing strategies, different school engagement strategies. Well, there's a whole range of marketing and other sorts of things out
We can market. You can come to us.
You went from 10
Tyrone
days
and
of
the team have
gallery
been
showings
looking
to
at
2.
exactly that, and we've been restructuring the marketing teams to be
The marketing team to protect your asses while you shut the SCA. Yeah, we're aware of that one. Thank you. We've got a question down here.
Hi, it's me again, sorry. I'm confused because you keep saying enrollments are shrinking,
We live in a highly visual world that's only becoming more visual. I'm actually reading an article in the business magazine right now about just how visual the world is going to be in the next decade. Why is this not a time to be expanding in the visual arts? Human beings are visual creatures. The new wave of marketing is going along the lines of a visual storytelling mechanism that's already being popular, and clients like Christie's and these huge luxury merchandisers and banks and everybody have been using visual marketing for years now. I would think this would be a time to be promoting Sydney College of the Arts at the beginning, to have a business conversation about how this world will become visual and why you're not engaging students on that level, because I don't understand why enrollments are shrinking at this day and age in the digital visual world.
Thank you. And quite simply, I'd just like to add that shutting an art school is really not a good way to fix an issue of declining enrollments, because there'll be none when we're not here. Another question.
Excuse me. You said you looked at all options, right? However, this university proposed a new degree called the Bachelor of Visual Communication and had a strategic plan to make us a break-even point. Why we're not using it?
They were ready to start teaching that next year and you dumped it.
We haven't dumped it.
Well, you have, because you haven't put it in the UAC guide.
You put it in the UAC guide.
How are we not Hi, Stephen. Hello. Hi, Stephen. So I'm the incoming women's officer. First of all, can I just say, main campus is behind you at SCA. We got your back. Follows well with Kylie's question as well. A lot of kids here, and these are just like students, have just come up with these little strategies that you can be implementing to increase enrollment, because the primary reason to be shutting down SCA, given at the moment, is that enrollments are declining. And although I think quite a few people have, Isla brought this up as well, why aren't resources being directed into increasing enrollment? I don't think you really addressed that question. Why aren't resources being directed into enrollment? Why aren't more strategies besides the merger being considered? For example, why can a first-year BBA student say, why haven't double degrees been considered? And not a bunch of very high-ranking professionals in the university have thought of that already. So have you exhausted the list of strategies, and have you exhausted the resources that are directed? And if so, can we please hear what those are? And if not, can we change the discussion to let's increase enrollment, because as we've already seen, SCA is staying.
So additional resources to market the SCA's degrees have been utilised over the last 2 years. The senior management of the faculty has been working with the university for the last 2 years. So it is trying to work out strategies to
Just here, can we, like, okay, so that's a very vague answer. Like, I want to know what, like, I want to know what these strategies are, and why we're not exhausting more strategies like the one that was just suggested.
So they put up the BBA strategy, which was considered, and we did some market research a little bit, which suggested that realistically it wasn't going to solve the major issues of the faculty.
So it wasn't implemented and tried?
No, because
I think that's all you needed to hear. Thank you.
Because the research showed that
we have one question up there, a question down here.
I have obviously a lot of concerns with this view, but my most immediate concern is the postgraduate student involved supervision and staff, because I do appreciate that you are saying that this will be consulted and addressed and we need to discuss this, but what happens right now? Because right now our research and our staff are actually put on hold. How can they adequately provide instruction and help to us when their jobs are on the line? The stress levels of the staff here must be immense. Not only are they for them, but for us as well. How can we continue our studies when the future is unclear? And when will you provide us those answers? Because our research is personal, it's heartfelt, it's involved in every aspect of our daily lives. And we need those answers now. We need them now.
I just want to announce that unfortunately we're going to have to shut the speaking list, not because I don't want to hear everyone, but because we want time to make our demands and vote on them in front of the two slime balls, respectfully or disrespectfully, standing in front of us right now.
So we will need to meet you one-on-one.
3 more questions.
Perfect supervision arrangements for each and every one of the PhDs.
And I'm due to graduate this year. When you say you're going to meet with us, all I've had is a rote email from you at the moment. You'll understand, having done a PhD yourself, at the pointy end of your PhD, how would you feel if you were in my shoes trying to complete your PhD with this sort of going on, and our amazing supervisors trying to help us, but in fear of losing their jobs? And can I say one other thing? I was in that market research seminar that you conducted 2 years ago. And off the record, the market researcher who was interviewing me one-on-one said to me, "It's going to go. They don't want it anymore."
Guys, somebody's been waiting really patiently here. Let's
I said the market researcher said that to me. So firstly, when are you going to speak to us one-on-one? Because I am completing my PhD. I will do that in the next 8 weeks. But all you've done at this stage is send me a rote email. So when exactly will this meeting
So
be?
we've only just signed the heads of group, so we had nothing to consult about. So we're starting the consultation now.
I would just like to say that I have a friend who's currently in America. She's a student here, and she specifically came to SCA for the campus and for jewelry, which is going to be cut when we move, or if we move to and she's already decided she probably won't be coming back next semester. So
That's what you want.
kind of ruined her whole life because she dropped everything to come here and participate in this degree and at this specific campus with these facilities, and now she can't do that. And I also want to say that how are we supposed to finish our Bachelor of Visual Arts at UNSW when they don't even offer a Bachelor of Visual Arts?
Good question.
part of their plan to make people drop out.
That's not the
Yeah,
point.
bullshit.
No jewelry, no
Hello,
glass.
I have a question. For 6.5 years, I attended this institution that was sold to me as the best art institution in Australia, if not in the Southern Hemisphere. I completed an undergraduate degree, an honors degree, and a master's degree, and I just started my PhD this year. That is 6.5 years of my life. You gladly took my international student fees this whole time. Shame. After SCA closes its doors, what value will my degrees have? That's one question. The second question is, how will you compensate me and other SCA graduates for that? My fellow art students and staff here are fiercely committed to art education. How come you're not?
This is a question to Colin. The previous dean here, Richard Dunn, when he handed the helm to you, the college was in surplus $300,000. Since that time, you've managed to let this school run to the ground, and you've done nothing to provide support and infrastructure to the greatness of what you so champion. I put this to you. Do you even understand what greatness is? And if so, greatness comes from great leadership, and you, sir, I do not think are capable of that.
Yeah.
1 minute. 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 1 minute.
Thank you.
vote no confidence and ask you to stand down.
A vote of no confidence in Colin Rhodes, especially given that I've noticed today the person on the stage who's spoken the most has not been Colin Rhodes. So that is, can everyone raise their hands in favour of a vote of no confidence for Colin Rhodes, because good education deserves good leadership. That's a unanimous vote of no confidence.
I don't believe that the facts are correct on what you were saying about the financial circumstances.
We don't believe you! Any word that comes out of your mouth!
And
He breathes and he lies.
And it's certainly the case that I think the senior management team and the staff of the SCA have been working very hard over the last decade to improve the financial circumstances of
Yeah, there are people that have been working very hard to try and find solutions to save the college, that they've worked so hard. For 15 years, they've come up with solution after solution, and you said in your provost meeting in May, the university is supporting none of them. I heard those words come out of your mouth. You admitted that people had tried everything to save this school, and you weren't supporting any of them. I heard it come out of your mouth.
You did not, and you are lying.
You're lying! What have I got to lose now? Yeah. What have I got to gain from lying? You know, it's just so
But misrepresenting what I'm saying.
You're an absolute liar. None of us believe you.
And in light of that, we have some demands that we would like to make of you, because I think it's become very clear that what you are doing does not meet what the students or the staff of Sydney College of the Arts want, and what we were promised when we enrolled. It doesn't meet us what we want, and so these are our demands. You have the opportunity today, if you would like, to sign on to the demands, and then maybe your negotiations could continue with us included as clients. Our first, in fact, what we're going to do, we're going to vote on these demands in front of you right now, so you can see how much support these demands have. So I'm going to propose each demand, and then we're going to have a vote. The first demand is all negotiations between the University of Sydney, the state government and the University of New South Wales are to be ceased immediately. All in favour? Looks pretty unanimous to me. Our second demand is that there will be no changes to the course resolutions that we are all enrolled in. All in, yeah, as expected. That's pretty unanimous as well, I'd say. The third demand is that none of our teachers or technicians lose their jobs. Fourth, no changes will be made to our facilities, and this is non-negotiable. Yeah, it'd be nice if you invested a bit more in us instead of just shutting us down. That'd be great. The fifth one is there will be no changes whatsoever to studio-based practice, which is what we were promised.
It's actually what we purchased.
It is what we purchased. Let's be clear there. So that's unanimous on all 5 of our demands, and I've got two opportunities that I'd like to give to you both. I'd like to give Colin Rhodes the opportunity to stand with his students now and sign on to these demands and support us. And I'd also like to give Stephen Garton the opportunity to sign on to our demands. Otherwise, this is only going to escalate. I'm so impressed with the support we have today, and we're going to escalate this, and we are going
And you know I'm not going to sign it. So.
I think that was pretty clear.
But I'm happy to take them back.
Take them back to who?
No, that's okay. You can take a moment and think about it.
Yes.
Yeah. But I won't
And
sign it.
Colin? We have one more request from you specifically, Colin, because I think it's pretty clear that Garton's doing nothing to help us out here. We have a change.org petition that is currently nearing 4,000 signatures. I'd like to get Cecilia Rubens up here if she's in the room. We have, thank you Cecilia. So Cecilia started this petition that is just taking off. This is far bigger than SCA and far bigger than just a few angry students, and we want to make that clear to you. Cecilia, I don't know if you want to say a few words, but she's printed out some of the comments from all of our supporters, and we'd like you both to take a look at these.
And then sign the petition. Show where you stand.
Hey. Within 24 hours of receiving the most inadequate bullshit email of 2016, we formed a change.org petition in opposition of all proposed changes to SCA because we're pretty damn good. This morning, less than a week later, that petition has now 3,934 supporters. I'd like to read some of the comments from supporters of that petition before I hand them over to Colin for a bit of bedtime reading, maybe. You won't be sleeping much. The closure of Sydney College of the Arts leaves students abandoned, staff redundant, and this city culturally poorer. In a nation that is supposedly seeking greater innovation, why are we demolishing our factories of ideas? Visual arts is just as important as any other course, and we deserve to be treated fairly. If I had wanted to go to UNSW, I would have enrolled at UNSW. This is an unfair disruption to my degree and an insult to the art community. As a current student of UNSW Art and Design, I know firsthand that we do not have nearly enough fine arts facilities nor the capacity to take on students from SCA. To mess around with students' tertiary education is ignorant and foolish, not to mention the job losses at stake. People aren't just numbers. My son is at UNSW Art and Design, and this influx of student numbers from SCA will seriously affect the quality of his art education. He expected to have access to his own small workspace in 2017, but this may now be jeopardised. As students paying fees for services at UNSW Art and Design were not made aware of this change when they enrolled or at any time since. SCA and UNSW Art and Design are very different schools, and all of the students are being compromised. This is unethical, and by reducing the numbers of art students in the future, by reducing the teaching institutions, smacks of the, I actually haven't read this before, so this is kind of awkward. Anyway, basically everyone's like, hell no. So guys, this isn't over, the petition's not closed, so please keep signing, keep sharing, because the numbers just keep going to go up because it's shitty.
We'll give you the opportunity, the petition's open, like would you like to show that you, we understand that you might not be able to, deal with this guy, Colin, but we can give you the opportunity to sign up the petition and show that you support us saving visual arts education at the University of Sydney.
Make us
Sign it.
right now.
So I think it's been made pretty clear by both Colin and Stephen that our demands are not going to be met today, which means we are only going to amp this up. We're going to get bigger. We're going to Colin Rhodes and Stephen